It's July 8th, and I am finally back in Georgia after my 2.5 week trip to Montana to visit friends and family. And I apologize, it's been almost 2 weeks since I did an update, and I only did one while I was up there. So it's easy to get distracted when you're on the road. I'll just say that. As I mentioned in my last video, I did finish summer 1 session, and I did get an A in environmental science. And I also got a B in World Civilization. And one of the things I want to mention about that is you saw my struggles with science. I did not enjoy that class. And I even bombed out on the very last lab. But I did all the extra credit. As a matter of fact, in both classes, I did the extra credit because in my World Civilization class, I did not do so well on all the exams. So one of the things I would tell you as sort of general advice is know your weaknesses, know where you're struggling, and be a little proactive in looking ahead at the extra credit for the Civilis and seeing, can't talk today apparently, and seeing what will work for you if you can fit that in. Because in all honesty, in both of those classes, if I had not done the extra credit, I would have gotten probably more of a B in my environmental science, and I would have gotten a C actually in that World Civilization class. It was just a lot to study in 4.5 weeks time. But good news is I got an A and a B. Summer 1 is over. Summer 2 session has started. It runs July 11th to August 11th, so it actually works out to be about 4.5 weeks. But I'm in English 1301, which is the beginning English class, mostly because I put it off. It's hard when you score well on your exams and on your writing assignments and classes to sort of take steps back and go through the learning. I don't want to use the word remedial because I don't think it's really remedial. It's just kind of going back to the basics of writing, and you have to retrain your brain. So that's been a bit of a challenge, but I'm hanging on to an A so far. And then I also have government, the basic government class, which, by the way, I also put off more than once too because it just doesn't interest me. And I'm not a big political activist, so I don't even want to get into all the debates about, the things we have to discuss in government. But what I can say so far as being about 10 days into the class is that most of what we're doing is more generic. It's not tied to this election and what's going on in your beliefs, and I'm appreciative of that. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm in summer session 2. The big news, obviously, if you've looked on the Facebook page, is that I was accepted to 2 schools while I was gone. So I was accepted to Kennesaw State here in Kennesaw, Georgia, and that would be part of Owl Nation. I also got accepted to sort of the dream, maybe I'll go school of Hawaii Pacific University, which is in Honolulu, Hawaii. And Hawaii Pacific's a private school, and I had applied there because I know they have different availability for funds and for money that public schools don't have. And as an adult going back to school, some of our aid is tied to what we made working full time. So even though I'm a broke college student today, and I don't have the resources to pay for all my education, a private university doesn't look at that. They look at your GPA, they look at who you are as a student, they look at what they can offer you transferring, as far as transferring scholarships and transferring into their university. Kennesaw State, on the other hand, is going to give away all their aid initially to lower income, and I understand that and I appreciate that. But the bottom line is that means I'm not going to reflect any lower income for another year. And that means I'm not working for a year to be a lower income. You get caught between a rock and a hard place when you're over 30 and you go back to school and you've actually had a job and reported income, or you're married and you're reporting a joint income with your spouse. Your expected family contribution is going to be higher. And those are some of the things that the website, when it gets up, is going to talk about, and some sort of informational videos that will eventually get published is looking at the differences between public and private schools, as well as how do we pay for it? How do you pay for school when you've worked your whole life and you either don't want to tap into whatever you've saved in retirement, or you may not even have enough in retirement to pay for school. And that's sort of where I'm at. I chose to tap into what I had saved after getting debt free to finance the beginning part of this journey. But I don't have the money to pay for school 100%. And I'm madly looking at scholarships and really want to avoid the student loan path. And that is sort of the goal. But we'll see what happens. Right now it's a day by day, and I try really hard not to overthink it, because as of right now, both schools that have accepted me are looking for a spring semester, which is actually January of 2017. So I've got some time to figure out the money part still, and it's kind of hard to believe I've actually only been out of work for not even 2 months yet, and it still feels like I've been out of work forever. I guess that's what it's like when you're constantly putting money out there to pay for the overhead of the rent and the utility bills and things like that, and all of a sudden the checks stop coming in. It is a way different feeling. And so I'm still practicing every day on adjusting to the difference. A lot of thoughts to talk about that kind of came up on my travels, as far as videos and schools to go to, and just how to, how we have to rethink during this process. But I just wanted to make sure I got a video out there today to let you know that yes, I'm back in Georgia. Yes, I was accepted by 2 schools. I encourage you to not only share the videos, but go to the Facebook page, which is Fly Higher After 30, and start inviting your friends. The idea here is that we're a network of women that are typically over 30, but we don't discriminate if you're under 30 or if you're way over 100, to build a network and a community of ideas. I've been lucky enough where I've had some pretty good support through my friends and through my family, but the idea that will make this successful is to get it out there and to share. So if you're going back to school and struggling with finding study time or looking for resources, post it on the Facebook page. Please share it with your friends on Facebook, or suggest the page to other people. Once the website is up, that'll be announced on the Facebook as well. And so we have 2 avenues. You can see the videos obviously on YouTube at Fly Higher After 30, and that is 30 spelled out, all one word almost. And then the Facebook page is out there, and it's just started. I just made it published yesterday, so there's not very much, but the idea is let's get some resources going. Let's get some good positive comments. Send me suggestions, or friend your women that have either already gone back to school and that might have some good advice for us, or have good resources, ideas for videos beyond these blogs. These are my videos of my journey, but these are not informational logs. They're just to sort of help you say, I'm here, I'm doing it with you, or you can do it if I can do it. How can I help? And but I'd really like to have some women. I think there are some in my graduating class of 1983 in Montana that actually went back to school after 30 to finish their degree, are thinking about going back to school to finishing their degree, or even more so, they have friends. I heard stories when I was on vacation of other women that have done this. So please share the website, share the videos with them, because what makes this site successful and what helps me is hearing other people's story. This is not my first attempt at trying to go back to school. I tried once a long time ago in the 90s. I tried again in 2003, and for different reasons and for different situations at those times in my life, I couldn't make it work. And I was over 30 both those times. But we didn't have the same internet resources. We didn't have the same network of people. It was just a little more challenging. I still think the journey's challenging, particularly in today's materialistic world of we have to have so much, and I'm only considered successful if I'm driving a fancy car and living in a big house in the center of Dallas. That's how I've been taught to feel the last 15 years. I do think there's success in that, and I don't discount anybody's success for doing that path. but we're successful too. Just because we chose to step out for a little bit, finish a degree, maybe not to make more money, maybe for a bigger decision, maybe for a bigger life choice. I did it for a bigger life choice. Several choices I'll get into, several decisions I made that as you watch the progression of videos, you'll start to get to know more about me and find out what those are. So, video's already too long for today. I just wanted to make sure I touched base, reminded you we're in it together. Me, you, we can go back to school. We can go anywhere we want. We could be on the beach in Hawaii studying, although my son's not wondering if I really will study if I go to Hawaii. Or we can go down the street to our community college. Send me your messages, send me your thoughts, send me your ideas. Share the Facebook page. That's what it's about. Get the message out. We are all here together, celebrating, going back to school, getting our education, no matter what our motivation. And remember, just because I had a great job I walked away from. And when I say great, well paid. Not the best job, but well paid. But you might need to go back to school or want to go back to school because you actually need that to get a good paying job to support your family, your children, you. You may wake up one day and want something more like I did, or you may just decide I'm going to pick away at some classes and see if I'm even interested. The bottom line here is it doesn't matter why you're choosing to go back to school. You're choosing it, or you're thinking about it. So don't squash the dream and don't be afraid. Trust me. Right now, I'm afraid for all of us. It is scary to wake up every day and go, today I'm not getting a check come in, and how am I going to restructure my day? So, learning process. But so far, no regrets. Pretty happy about it all. And truthfully, pretty excited to get accepted to school. And when you get those in the mail, trust me, you will be excited too, because it's an accomplishment that what you've done so far, somebody wants you to go to their school. I have to admit, it's pretty exciting to get accepted to Hawaii Pacific. They're a great school. Great demographic, great international presence, and stellar location. So more about them later. This is not a promotion for them. It's a promotion of thank you for accepting me, and I'm so excited. It was exciting to come home and get the big white envelope. So have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.